Fish Boxes, the whiskey tasting game.
Fifty,
10, 9,
2,
8,
3,
7,
4,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well done, lads.
Yeah, how does time.is work?
The clock. I don't know.
Surely there's a chance I'm always going to be a bit behind you, but no.
I mean, how does it know how quickly it's?
Well, how does it always? Yeah, presumably it is like ticking away in sync with yours or whatever, just because that's what happened.
It actually says at the top of the screen, doesn't it? So time.is knows the actual time, and then it measures the distance to your computer. So for me, I'm 0.14 seconds ahead of
I'm 1-3 behind.
I'm actually a second ahead. Yeah, you're 1-3. You're 1-3 behind.
Well, I'm saying plus.
Oh, that's that's the bit. Your clock is 1 second ahead,
yeah.
and then accuracy of synchronization was plus or minus 0.053 seconds, which is that to do with the distance? Maybe, I don't know.
I'm 1.8 behind.
I think it's doing what we need it to do anyway.
No, I wasn't saying we need a new system by any means. I was just curious.
Right, I'm going to do the podcast shit.
Well, it's been a while, so.
Yeah, sorry about last week, whatever I was doing.
That's all right.
Hello and welcome to Damp Rocks and Fish Boxes, the whiskey tasting game. This is the podcast where two lads apply their whiskey wisdom, poetic panache and intuition for intrigue in order to take down the series prize, a fancy bottle of scotch. I'm your host, Joe Lindley, and with me we have Nathy Connolly.
Hiya.
And Ralph Connolly.
Hello.
Hello lads, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Basically fine. I'm fine. I'm kind of quite excited, to be honest. We're getting towards the end of the series, and I think as we approach the season finale, you're 2.5 points in the lead, so it's still close, but I think this is perhaps the biggest gap we've had throughout. I'm enjoying the Euros. I bought a new boat. Looking forward to drinking this whiskey, so all is good.
You bought another narrow boat?
A new boat?
Another small boat?
I brought a little sailing boat.
Oh, right, yeah. The one you're taking to the lakes.
It sounds so disappointed.
I think when you said boat, we just immediately thought another narrow boat, and that blew both our minds. When it turned out to be a sailing boat, we thought actually
we haven't got imagination. So yeah, is that like what, smaller than a Wayfarer?
Yeah, it's a topper, which is so cool because you can put it on the top of your car.
Is it made out of polystyrene or something?
Is that why they're called toppers?
It is why they're called toppers.
I never knew that. Danny used to sail a topper up on Denham.
Oh, that's probably we sailed the same toppers up on Denham.
No, he's about 10 years ahead of you.
I think they had the same ones when I was learning.
They last a while.
Well, I more meant at the same time. It was probably the same boats, but he was, just.
Yes.
It was more of a dig at him than you.
But yeah, they are. They're made of. I think they are made of polystyrene or polypropylene or something like that. It's a hunk of plastic. It was at the time when they came out. It was won loads of design awards for clever use of plastic.
Bit of a dirty word that these days, plastic, isn't it?
Well, at least it's not plastic waste. I've saved it from a rubbish dump.
How old are we talking?
It's probably 30 plus years old.
Wow. How much?
300 quid.
It's not bad, is it? I suppose.
Yeah, I don't have a point of reference for.
No, I don't either, but it sounds alright.
It sounds expensive to me. It sounds like you got ripped off, Joe.
Probably cheaper than a 30-year-old bottle of whiskey, just to bring it back,
Do you know, Ralph, you could do it, it comes to the poetry section today, you could do a sea shanty.
Right, well, I'll draw you back to the Fishwives of episode 1, take 7, or whatever it was, which didn't make it in, I don't know, anyway, right.
You've been trading on these fishwives for the entire series, Ralph. You need to
have a little imagination.
You need some new poetry, some new imagery.
Get out of my fish box.
Right. Let's concentrate on the episode. So, have you got your whiskey trivia ready yet?
Sure thing.
Okay, hit me with your trivia of this week, Ralph.
Well, actually, initially I was going to be a little bit facetious and carry on with last week's tack of just stating subjectivity as facts and say, I've had another go at the Cotswolds. It's fucking amazing. Which it is, actually. And then I was going to hit you with something else. But actually, after drinking a bit more Cotswold, it is absolutely outstanding. And it's led me to do a little bit more research into it, which was quite interesting, I thought. I mean, it was kind of obvious, I suppose. They've not been around for very long, have they? 2017 or something? So that makes, I was something like 4 years old, that whiskey potentially had, which I think makes it even more impressive than the before we were busting out last week, possibly. Don't know. But yeah, no, the most intriguing thing I found out about it was, although most of their casks are aged at the distillery, sorry, no, some of their casks are aged at the distillery, the majority of them are actually aged. Do you want to guess where?
Oh, the Isle of Man.
Yorkshire.
Well, both not bad guesses, as in a similar direction, probably somewhere in between those two. Liverpool, actually, which I thought was totally bizarre and kind of tied into what we're talking about the Diageo whiskies being aged completely separate to wherever they were distilled. I mean, for people who aren't,
I suppose it's to get
whiskey,
the salty air off the Irish Sea, isn't it?
Well, maybe. I'll move on. I'll actually go into a few more specific about it in a minute. But for people who aren't interested in whiskey, it's probably not a big deal. But I don't know. I found that quite intriguing.
Why Liverpool? Did you find that out?
Well, the guy who started the distillery is an American. I think he's from New York, some business guy anyway. And he is quoted as saying in the Liverpool Echo, I think, that it's nice and cool and humid, which is the best conditions for limiting the Angel's share, which, for the people who don't know, is the whiskey that distilleries lose to evaporation as it ages. I don't know, did you say it's something like 50% we were talking about the other week, Joe?
Well, it's proportionate to the age. I think if you were to age it for 35 or 40 years, then you lose 50%. Younger whiskies, you don't lose so much, but it's maybe 5% per year or something like that.
Well, anyway, I suppose it's not a very old whiskey, so it's not going to have lost anything, but maybe with their other whiskies, that might save a few dollar. But I don't know, I think it's kind of is just interesting, because I think those guys, you've got the bottle, Joe, but I think they were kind of bigging up the Cotswold terroir, is that how you say it? I don't know. So it kind of, from a scientific standpoint, it doesn't really matter at all by the sounds of it. They've got this good quality product, but it's kind of, it diminishes some of the bullshit, maybe you could call it, that they go into about where this whiskey's from. Likewise, a lot of the Scottish ones. Yeah,
they do talk about the fact it's Cotswolds barley that they put into it, so it's barley that's grown locally, and then they don't mention the fact that they ship it off to Liverpool. But I think the fact that they do and that Diageo do, it clearly doesn't have a huge effect on the taste and the smell of the product. But it's interesting. It's actually a business decision. It's basically minimising the amount of loss.
Yeah, and I don't know, I mean, I think it did, I don't know what a bonded warehouse means, is that before tax or after, I don't know, but I think maybe it's possibly because I've got a load in Liverpool. And the other thing about it I thought was quite cool, it said it was under the Mersey, which initially I kind of thought that might mean like literally in the middle of the Mersey, underneath it, but I think it's probably just in a warehouse to the side of it and like very deep underground, which is, I don't know, it all sounded quite cool anyway. And there's a little bit about it in the Liverpool Echo if anyone is interested.
How romantic.
That was a bit rambling, wasn't it? But anyway.
I would have liked it if you delivered it in a Scouse accent.
I'm not going there.
Okay, no worries. Well, good facts though. I'm interested. I'm also fascinated that you're so into the Cotswolds. I think it was very nice, but I don't think I've sort of strengthened that opinion since last week. I'm just like, it's nice.
I don't know. I just had another go at it. I just had it a few ways. I had it straight up again. Just on a Saturday night from the telly, and then I also had it in a highball with just soda water and loads of ice.
Yeah, I'd like to try some of the other ones because they've got, they're all no age statement, but they've got a few different varieties out and about, and that was just the cheap and cheerful one. Anyway,
very cheerful, Joe, is what I would say it is.
Very cheerful. Well, there's only the second 4 in the whole series. Joint highest rated whiskey as far as. Okay, Nathy, what have you got for me?
So mine's of a political nature. My trivia. So single malt whiskey drinkers were asked how they identified politically. Were they centre right, centre left, hard left, or hard right? And the results were, I don't think you'd be surprised to know, 46% were centre right, 29% centre left. This is the most surprising, I think. Hard left, 20%.
What?
Yeah, and hard right, only 5%. So the hard right lads aren't really into their whiskey, which is interesting.
What do you think they drink?
I suppose if you think of back to our Christopher Hitchens, I mean, would he identify as hard left? I think at one point he would have done. I imagine Galloway probably gets through a bit of single malt.
Yeah,
does he?
I can imagine George drinking some.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I don't know where maybe they did it in the I got this online, so maybe they did it in the the socialist it's like a socialist worker Facebook poll or something, I don't know.
Or maybe it's a bit like the exit poll, but it's the exit poll at a whiskey festival or something. They grab you in.
What about Corbo? Do you reckon he drinks whiskey?
No, I think he'd be a homemade elderflower champagne man.
Or probably cordial. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't drink, which is not as like them.
Well, Tony Benn didn't drink, did he?
He smoked though, didn't he?
Smoked cigars, yeah. No.
We've had the Churchill chat already, haven't we? That he was a Johnny Walker man.
Yeah, Churchill's also a Johnny Walker man. Yeah. So yeah, which also backs up. So the two people we probably had mentioned that might be considered political are probably dropping nicely into this. So. Fascinating. Tony Blair, I'd imagine he'd probably be. Fuck knows.
He's probably centre right and drinks whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him drinking Glenfiddich.
I tell you what, though, back on reviewing old whiskies, I was telling my wife that the Bells scored a 3, which she couldn't believe.
She had the
Going back to it, I do sort of start. Like, obviously, it's in hindsight ridiculous that I tried to identify it as Glenlivet 12, but and it doesn't say. I haven't got a Glenlivet 12 to test that out, and it doesn't taste probably much like what a Glenlivet 12 does taste like. But it's a cleverly blended whiskey. It's like it does have the grain in the background could be mistaken for a bit of age. I think that's what it does taste like, a sort of aged single malt a little bit. If you know what it is, you'd obviously know what it is, but.
Yeah. Well, you tell you what, I've got some Glenkinchie 12 on the narrowboat boat, and that's where the Bells is. So when I was there most recently, I tried them both, and I thought there's something really similar about them. Like the Glenkinchie 12 has got a kind of a malty breadiness to it, which was really present in the Bells. And in some ways, the Bells is nicer. It's, I don't know, a good blend goes a long way. I think it's very clever.
So we should all be. I tell you what, I'll be treating you to a bit of Highland Black this weekend, Joe.
Oh, lovely.
I've not had any of that in absolute ages, but I was rather fond of it.
Is this an Aldi job?
Yeah. It's a great camping whiskey.
Amazing. Look forward to it. So to quickly recap the rules and the game, there's 5 points for each category. The categories are describing the whiskey intriguingly, poetically and accurately, so up to 5 points for each of those. Then in addition, there's 1 point for getting the whiskey region, its age, distillery and strength correct. And if you get all of those right, I'll give you a bonus point of 1, so there's up to 5 for that too. If you manage to work in the phrase damp rocks and fish boxes, our namesake phrase, then there could be a bonus up for grabs, just as a point or 2. But if you say it in a way that I think is decidedly inappropriate, then I might give you a penalty. So far, Nathy's on 87, and that's leading Ralph by 2.5 points. We're just a couple of episodes away from the end of the series, and the person with the most points at the end is going to take home the £150 bottle of whiskey, which I'm going to decide what we're going to get in the very near future, so that's going to be exciting too. But there we go. There's the rules. Are you ready?
I think so.
Yeah, ready to go.
All right, let's dive in. Usually, Nathy, you give us the eyeball.
So hopefully you picked up the noise of me pouring there. So yeah, it is. This time, let's just spin it around. It's the colour of a flat pint of landlord, which is a crime. Certainly a crime to let the landlord go flat, and arguably a crime for the colour of whiskey. It's.
I'd say it's not Iron Brew, is
It's
it?
got legs on my glass. Which is good. Giving it a swirl. Is legs good for whiskey? I've actually no idea.
Yeah, I think so. It's like anything.
What does it mean?
It means it's thick and luxurious, and
That's good.
viscous, or something. I don't know. I'm going to put it out there and say it looks a bit like Iron Brew. Is that a good or a bad thing?
I know what you mean. Actually, I've got a slight. It's got a little bit of. It's not obviously quite.
It's just that's the kind of vibrancy we're talking about.
Yeah,
I would
it's-
hesitate to say it's natural.
a pensioner's fucking catheter bag. Yeah. Got you.
On the nose though, it's friendly.
Friendly.
Oh. Is it? I don't know. It smells like all the.
I think, to be honest, there's not been a lot of variety the last few weeks. But they all go on, do you want to say
Which is why
apples or shall I?
Yeah, I was going to say fruits, fresh orchard fruits. No mangoes, I don't think. It's quite lively.
I'm picking up a bit of tropical fruit. Maybe some pear. Maybe
mango.
Maybe a dash of dates.
I don't know. All of those flavours. I'm gonna cut straight to the palm test. Just because I'm a bit.
All right, remind me how we do it. So we lick it. No, we don't.
You put your glass over your hand. No, your hand over the glass.
Here we go. I'm going
And
to
then you shoot it up so you get some liquid on your palm.
put my computer keyboard
Like
away.
that. Yeah, and then just give it a little rub together. And we established last time it smells quite a lot like.
Yeah, my hands
Hand
aren't all
sanitizer.
that clean, to be honest. Yeah, it does smell like Santa. It's good, but it probably picks up a bit of salt off your hand as well, doesn't it? So it probably brings out the flavours.
I think you said something about your desk. It's getting quite woody.
Oh wow, I'm getting something very different off it. Yeah, it's woody.
Maybe even potpourri.
Yeah.
That's weird. You all right,
Nice,
Nathan?
that.
Yeah, it's just it evaporates the alcohol obviously much quicker than it would do in the glass. It really went my nose then.
Yeah, so I'm saying
Yeah, I'm getting
Fruits and must.
is it cedarwood?
some kind of wood.
I think it is cedarwood.
Is there any smoke? Maybe there is some smoke in there. Maybe that's just barrel.
I think this happened last time. There was smoke on the palm, but nowhere else. But then it turned out there was smoke in the description.
Was that the Balvenie? Oh yeah, it could be smoky. Not
Slightly
Maybe
kind
that's
of oily, I think. Oily smell there, like in
what kind of oil? What, petroleum oil?
machine oil, I think, sort of.
Castrol.
Yeah, is that
Don't know if that's machine oil.
motor oil?
Yeah, it's quite a bit heavier than it first felt after the old palm
Well,
tree.
it's completely different in the glass. The smell is completely different to in the sweaty palm.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was not expecting it's a completely different beast. Sandalwood, I think it is. That's what I'm getting
Sandalwood,
at.
yeah, that's it.
I've heard that bandied about before, but not by you guys maybe. But I don't know what sandalwood.
Yeah,
smells
put me
like.
down for sandalwood.
It's one of those like hippie kind of patchouli type things. Sandalwood.
I'm not going to commit.
Okay, and I think maybe
Smells nice, though, I think, but it's quite subtle. Maybe smoke. No fish boxes. Possibly a damp box.
I could go with a bit of malty sort of butterscotch.
Yeah, it's not as friendly with the
Are you coming down on a damp box or not, Ralph?
Fuck off.
damp box, but certainly not a fish box.
What's
And
the-
anyway, it's damp. It's not a damp rock either. It's just a damp box, which is not in the title of the podcast or the bonus point. So
very clever.
I mean,
you can't penalise me.
I'm intrigued by this picture, but I think it needs more development.
Right. Should we pop it in?
Yeah, just bang it in.
Damp box under a sandalwood tree, maybe. Some nice ums coming through.
I was nearly going to say a bloody damp rock there, but it's not. It's got that licorishness. Because for me, Bunnahabhain is very damp rocks, and that's quite licoricey. Which this is licoricey, but it's different. It's like sweet.
Yeah, that's lovely. Really nice on the mouth.
Mm.
I know what you mean about this sort of spicy, licoricey. What are those other types of things? Not fennel or aniseed, but
Clovey.
no, it's not quite as full on as that.
It's got a sharpness to it, though. I'm not going to be shocked if Joe slipped us another blend here.
So, well, I was thinking that initially.
It's got maybe a bit of a sort of graininess to it.
Saying it smells like Bell's. Is it Bell's 15-year-old?
Bell's Black. Well, what are the
I don't
different
think
ones?
Bell's do anything.
There's
I think it's
different
just
famous
Bell's.
grouses, isn't there? I don't think Jameson's Black. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Have you tried that?
No, I've got the stout one, which I had in the bath before we started, actually.
Isn't that what Jameson's Black is?
Maybe. Is it not a smoky one? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have to say, when I was initially sniffing this, I did think, is this a blend? If it is, it's a bloody strong blend.
But I think that's what I mean, is that
So it's
blends, grain whiskey tastes stronger than...
Do you think?
I think so, yeah. Stronger than single malt. So like a 40% single malt, you can kind of... I don't think it's that, because it's just got a bit of a burn to it that is either grain whiskey or it's a stronger single malt.
Well, what I will say is it's got a lot going on, but it's quite rounded. I heard someone as well describing blends and single malts as, you know, that kind of the words when you say sharp, spiky words, like sound like, you know, if you imagined a word that is, I can't think, like triangle, you'd think maybe of the shape it's like a triangle, and if you said circle, you'd imagine something round. Well, someone compared blends and single malts to that, and I think that's what makes me think it could be a bit of a blend.
Say that again. What did you mean?
So like blends, there's a hell of a lot going on, but there's no real like sharp edges unless it's like, you know, disgustingly alcoholic or whatever. But whereas, you know, single malts, that's probably possibly what makes them a bit more interesting. There's a bit more drama, but no, that's not. I'm not a very good analogy. I haven't delivered this segment very well, so you can cut that out, Joe.
This is called the Bouba and Kiki effect.
That's the one. Yeah, you should have just galloped in with that a few minutes ago and saved us all.
There's what, the Bouba and...
The Bouba and Kiki. So, Nathy, imagine two shapes. One of them's like a star shape, and another one's a sort of blob shape. And one of them's called Kiki, one of them's called Bouba. Which is which?
Oh right, yeah, got you. Bouba being so you're saying that blends are Bouba and
Yeah, basically they're a lot more rounded.
Kiki. There's
and
more
softer.
going on. Okay.
But well, no, there's not. That's the thing. There's less. In a way, there's less going on in a single malt, but what there is more dramatic.
Yeah, I suppose there's more. Yeah, there's probably more.
But there's a lot going on in a blend, but it's nice and round and friendly.
I think that was the point, wasn't it? Like back in the day, the malts were all pretty rough because they were not matured, and so to smooth that out, they blended them together. But what's this thing about? You're saying grain whiskey is sort of tastes stronger. It's got more burn, Nathy. Is that a thing?
I think so. It's got. Yeah, I think so.
I'd quite like to try some just straight up grain whiskey.
You had that Nicker that I had, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was so long ago. And
That's delicious.
isn't it quite sweet often though as well?
100% grain.
And they add, that's what your single malts sort of bunged into the mix just to add a bit of robustness.
I don't know. That wasn't that sweet. That tasted. It was just really nice and complex. I think it's probably quite strong as well.
Right, where are we at with this today? I think.
Yeah, we've gone off the rails a bit with that.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just looking to pick up some points. That's all. But I've no idea what it is.
Well, there's not a lot of poetry happened thus far, unless you count the pensioner's catheter bag from Nathy.
It's like on the what's not the Kiki one?
A Bouba.
A Bouba.
No, it's just Bouba.
Just Bouba. I mean, carrying on the Bouba vein, it's kind of nice and friendly, like a welcoming matron with plenty tête to spare. Go on, are you going to hit us with your haiku?
With my poetry, I was thinking of doing a little song this week. Would that count as poetry, Joe?
I'll certainly consider it. I'd like to find out whether it does count as poetry.
I'm not. I might save it for the Irish bar episode. I don't know whether I've got it in me.
It's certainly big and bouncy and... Isn't that a porno mag in Adrian Mole? I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, whiskey my Bouba. I look to you while I play my tuba. But there isn't much rhyme with Bouba, so I need to switch my lyric.
Yeah, that's...
So it's
I mean, it's better than I
a
do.
short poem and not a good poem, but a poem nonetheless.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, I started this poetry thing because my brother informed me that some of the whiskey companies, this is way back when, before I really drank whiskey, but some of the whiskey companies do employ poets to kind of put this imagery on the side of the bottles and sell that story, which we now know a lot of is bullshit. The fact that it may be made by the sea somewhere, but then it's matured in a warehouse in the middle of Scotland somewhere, or Liverpool. So that was why I put the poetry in, but I'm enjoying the direction it's taken with...
Well, I think sometimes it's easier to just try and come up with something that rhymes, which, has nothing to do with what you find on the side of a whiskey bottle, than it is to actually try and say something that conjures up the romance of what you're drinking.
Yeah, there's no Rabbie Burns in me, I regret to say. I'm not, Nathy is the lyrical one in the family, as you can tell.
But I can imagine you and I, Joe, sat this weekend by the lake, looking across at the mist.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my big and bouncy vibes. I know, no, not spicy.
Like a space hopper.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's a metaphor right there, or a simile, actually.
Ralph, bringing the English degree out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we have a quick Can we have a quick disambiguation? Can we have a quick disambiguation of allegorical and metaphorical rap?
No. Yeah, no, not for me anyway. I think, I couldn't even describe a metaphor. No, in short.
As far as I can tell from the dictionary definition, they're the same bloody thing, except is an allegory not like, is it not more like a metaphor?
Yeah.
You're just saying this is this.
Well, it is something. It's not like something. It is. But it's an image.
An allegory.
Is an allegorical like to do with a tale?
Yeah, I think you're right. I just looked it up. An allegory is a story. And it can be the point of the story is it's often a metaphor, but it's usually around a tale of some description.
Right, just to hit the buzzwords. I'm getting some, maybe a bit of almond, possibly shortbread. All the sweet stuff. I mean, are we sticking in Scotland, Joe?
Oh, you tell me, Ralph.
I suppose we went to England. I mean, you haven't leapt across the Irish Sea by any chance.
So yeah, I've got licorice, haven't I? And I want to say it's got a creamy, buttery taste to it as well. I think I wouldn't.
Well, that's where I was going with my shortbread.
Oh yeah, broken biscuits. I wouldn't. I think
Cereally. No porridge.
No, but flapjack.
Or you could be on something there. I mean, is there anything more poetic than Mother's flapjack? Not mine. My mother never fucking made any, so yeah, not really. As ever, I'm absolutely stumped. I could have a stab at the percentage, that's about it.
Would you say it's a long finish? Should we talk about the finish?
Alright, I've actually finished mine, so...
Speaking of the finish, he's drunk it.
I think it's a short finish, and it's got... Hang on, let me just have some more. I'll tell you what I think about the finish.
Definitely bourbon barrels. No, don't think there's much sherry.
No, it's a medium finish. Of...
How many seconds finish are you on, Nathy?
I think 8 or 9. And yeah, it's got a hint of walnut, maybe some marzipan. Dark chocolate? Yeah,
Weirdly, I really get that, the walnut on the finish. It sort of rises up for a brief second and then disappears off again.
Dissipates.
Yeah, it's still going. I just got a bit of a zing, a bit of a citrus zing. Maybe an orange. Or lemon.
Oh God, I'll have a bit more. I'm ready to name the whiskey, Joe, I think.
Yeah, I'm just racking my brains now.
I'm intrigued to see whether you both were tempted to go down the blend route. I'm intrigued to see whether you're going to double down on that or not.
Well, what I will say is if it's a blend, I don't know what it is.
And if it's a malt,
I don't know. I think I'm erring more on the side of. Keep thinking it is like a nicer bells.
Yeah, I think that. I know what you mean. Anyway, let's not confer too much.
we could always petition the makers of this whiskey and say you should put on the label a nicer bells. Ralph Connolly.
And I'm sure they'd say fuck off. That'd be a bit like Ronaldo shunning the Coca-Cola or something. I think it is. Yeah, the share price would plummet. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is. Is it Nathy's Glenlivet? I've never had that much Glenlivet, so I don't know.
No, it's not.
Do you know what it is?
No, it's just Glenlivet is not that colour.
Not that nice.
No, it's nice, but it's not.
Maybe it's the Highland Black. It's not, I'm just guessing.
It's not.
Is it a supermarket blended malt? I think it could be a blended malt. Maybe.
What's a blended malt? Just a blend made of only single malts?
Of malts, yeah, rather than the grain whiskey chucked in. I don't know what it is. I'm not.
It's not a blended malt. It could be, but I think if it's a blend, I think it's just a straight up blend.
No, I'm actually genuinely trying to give it a bit of thought to this. I've got two spaces blank. Have you filled in all your blanks, Nathy?
Yeah, because what I tend to do is have a punt on what I think it might be, and then I just fill in the blanks based on that. Which is the wrong way to do it, probably. I think because you end up.
Yeah, no, I've changed my approach this time. I've gone with the percentage. Because like last week, I just talked myself into thinking it was something, even though it blatantly wasn't, because I could tell it was a lot stronger than what I thought it was. Maybe I've got a hint of smoke, you know.
Oh, at the last moment, some smoke's come out of the woodwork.
Maybe.
No. Maybe a bit of burnt paper. Don't put that down for me, by the way, Joe. That was just. Or burnt pencil sharpenings.
Oh yeah, that's really nice.
These are all off the record, Nathy.
Mm-hmm.
Back on the licorice. Sorry, my mind's gone blank. I can't think of any fucking distilleries. Right, I'm just going to go for it.
He's doing it. He's writing it down as we speak.
What's the provisional rank before you know what it is and how much it costs?
I'll go 3. I think it's nice.
I think it's, I was going to say 3.
3 out of 5? Yeah, fair enough.
But I mean, to be honest, it's not it's just very nice. It's not nondescript as such, but I think I've had nicer 3s as well, though.
What would sway you if you found out it was like a 40 quidder? Would you make it 2?
Yeah.
If it was a 10 quidder?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'd be intrigued.
All right then, hit me with what you've got. Ralph, what are your guesses?
I'm going. I think this is just none of this adds up. Cardew Gold, which is definitely not 46%, but I'm saying 46%. Or maybe 43% actually. We'll go 43.
This is a baller move.
Speyside, no age statement.
Right.
That's what I mean. Once you've chosen one of those, you kind of have to go. Other than the age statement and the region.
It's a good little round though, because if you're really sure you know what it is and you're confident that you know how strong that is and everything, then you can just nail the 5 points. But
I'm fairly sure that's 40 anyway, not 43.
Otherwise, you can try and tick boxes. So are you sticking on 43?
Yeah, only because there's not many whiskies that are 46% other than like Ardbeg or. Well, a lot of the Diageo ones are.
Is Cardew always? I would have thought Cardew would be a bit smoother than that anyway.
Yeah, probably that's why I've no idea. I just thought it was a Speyside and it was above 40%, so I'll work backwards from there.
Well, I'm gonna
Locked in, Ralph. What have you got, Nathy?
I'm gonna blow your mind here. I'm gonna say Speyside, 40%, 12-year-old, Chivas Regal, blended up your arse.
It's definitely not Chivas Regal, but
Ooh, to be honest, I've never actually drunk. Well, I haven't drunk Chivas Regal in a very long time, so
it's lovely.
And what is I don't understand how Speyside comes into that if Chivas is a blend.
I don't think it is. I think most of Chivas whiskies are Speysides, but
Okay.
yeah, Chivas is from up that way.
I don't know what goes into Chivas other than
It's a Speyside blend.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like I've not got that right anyway.
I think blend is your region, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think blend is the region. The name of the whiskey is the distillery, kind of thing.
That is the biggest step. I think
You should get a point.
One can take in this game is just say that is a blend.
I've just had I've had it in my mind for about 4 episodes now that Joe might slip as a Chivas, or a Chivas Regal, because it's a pretty ubiquitous supermarket one. I quite fancy trying it. Joe probably doesn't, which is why I haven't had it yet.
It's quite nice. I find it recently.
I like it.
It's good. Anyway, I will put you out of your misery. You're going to have to wait for the Chivas Regal, but what we have here is
Fucking hell!
Johnny Walker Black Label.
No way!
Fucking hellfire. You haven't, have you, Joe?
So that is... Whoever said 40%, Nathy, tick. Whoever said 12 years old, you can have a tick for that because it's aged 12 years.
I think anything. It's probably got Cardew in it. Can I have a...
Well, I was going to sort of mention this earlier. I think we could argue that if you say a malt which is in the blend, you get a point. And I think that might have happened in one of the earlier episodes.
There's about 50 other whiskies in it, I think, so fuck those.
Anyway, Nathy, you nailed 3 there because you got the blend.
Shit, I'm going to be about 10 points behind now.
Yeah, Ralph, unfortunately, not even on the no age statement because it's got a 12-year statement on it.
Yeah.
So
It's 40%, fuck me. Maybe I don't know what's going on with it.
So what's in is Johnny Walker Black has got grain in as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, quite a lot, I think.
it does have grain, but it's aged
All of
grain.
it's 12.
It's aged grain, that's good.
I'll give you a quick rundown of what they say about it. So, as ever, Johnny are quite brief in their own description, and I think they described the red the same, which was sweetness wrapped in smoke. They say the smell is bold sense of fruit with a touch of vanilla. Taste is creamy toffee, sweet fruit and spice roll over the tongue. Finish warming, smoky.
I'm getting smoke wrapped in sweet, I would say.
I think that does sort of add up, doesn't it? But it's not very smoky at all.
No.
No, I wasn't getting
there's a hint.
I wasn't getting the smoke. So that was Hitchens, wasn't it? Not Churchill that drank Johnny Walker Black.
Oh, was it black? I thought it was red.
No, Churchill was red.
I do like Johnny Walker Black, though. I mean, I wouldn't give it a 4.
I don't think
No,
I'm
not
not very
Johnny
familiar with it. It is nice.
No, it's nice.
I came across some dissent on some of the whiskey vendors online in the comments section. So quite a lot of people were saying that this used to be way better, and of late it's got inconsistent, so you don't know whether one bottle is going to be the same as another, and just altogether not as nice as it used to be. So I don't have the experience to fall back on, but
If only Hitch was still alive.
The mood of the world these days is things aren't as good as they used to be.
it could be a bit of a mood of the world, or it could be true. You know, if Diageo are just trying to shift loads of whiskey, then they're not really caring. What
Chocolate bars aren't getting any bigger. They're the same price but smaller. All that shit.
Yeah.
Interestingly, well, not interestingly, but if you've got a spare 45 minutes, there's I don't know where I found out about it, but there's a Johnny Walker, another documentary about Johnny Walker, but it's just quite a nice, fun thing, and it gets you really feeling quite lively about Johnny Walker. Maybe I'll go back and watch it actually while I drink a bit of this. I was tempted to go out and buy a bottle on the back of watching it.
One thing for this Johnny Walker, maybe it's the mood I'm in, maybe it's the whiskey, but I've really smashed through a lot more Johnny Walker than the Cotswolds during the episode. So.
Well, I've had a little dabble on the Cotswolds in between episodes, and It's still very nice. It tastes amazing, but it's not as smooth as this. And maybe that's the alcohol. It's a bit stronger, isn't it? But I find it sort of bites the back of my throat a bit more than
I think that both of them got, and not to kiss my own ass too much, but I think they're both. You could kind of tell both of them. I thought in the Cotswolds tasted pretty strong without being that complex, and
Yeah, you could tell maybe it was young actually with hindsight.
and the Johnny Walker, you could just tell it had that sort of grainy vibe that does taste a little bit like age, but isn't.
Right, well, I'm just going to do a bit of scoring here. Did Master of Malt, by the way, give a slightly different, more elaborate description? So they were saying on the nose there's winter spice and treacle, hints of white pepper, back on the white pepper, and a little citrus, palate rich and full with notes of wood smoke and dry spice. Maybe that was the spice you were after, Ralph. It's a dry spice. Hints of barley and cereal with creamy toffee and a distinct herbal note, and then finishing on quite fruity with a long note of sultanas and mixed peel.
Yeah, I was more getting fresh fruit than all that sort of spices, but I suppose when I was sniffing the old palm trick, I was getting quite a lot of...
I'm not sure about the palm trick. I feel it just is so far removed from the rest of the...
I'm going to try the palm trick again after I've drunk a bit. See, I mean, it gave me a very different vibe before. That was where I was getting all the sort of sandalwood box. Oh shit, I spilled it on the keyboard.
Yeah. To be fair, a lot of the things that they described on Master of Malt did come off the palm, the sandalwood.
Maybe that's just standard down
Down Master
the lads
of
down
Malt.
Master of Malt will just lathering it on their hands.
Very sandalwoody.
It's probably lasses down.
Are you a Master of Malt or a whiskey exchange person?
I've only ever bought off Master of Malt, but what I do like about the Whiskey Exchange website, for most of their whiskies at least, it gives you quite a lot of visuals.
Well, that's obviously where I
And it'll give you like smoke.
get my Black Friday whiskey from.
Is it? But yeah, and my Christmas purchases I've generally bought off Master of Malt.
I think it's a couple of probably British Indian guys who run Master of Malt. No, Whiskey Exchange. I think they just started out with a whiskey shop.
And off they went. Maybe that's where we could be
yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, we could take over. A nimble upstart.
I think not.
I do like the flavour profile thing on Whiskey Exchange where they've got...
Yeah, it's good. It sort of gives you like a little cool thing of smoke, and it'll give you a number like 2, 3 or whatever what it thinks it's got in it. But I find all these things a bit misleading, really.
I think there's another approach that you guys could take for poetry. I know it's a bit late in the game, but it's really just taking your adjectives and putting them together into a
sentence. Yeah, it's not really my forte.
Yeah, but I think that's the point about the poetry, is that you need to know how to line the adjectives up. So kind of go car tyres rested over olive oil, basted in onion juice or whatever. Yeah, as I showed there, it's not an easy thing to do.
That was extremely evocative. I think you've got it in you.
This is a nice segue back to the poetry score, so I'm going to go through the scores. So, poetry this week. I'll just quickly recap my notes of your poem, Nathy. Whiskey, my Bouba. I look to you while I play my tuba. But then there is not too much to rhyme with Bouba, so I need to switch my lyric. Good, it's amazing. I love it.
One.
I can't quite remember what the intro was, but it ended with plenty tit to spare, Ralph. Something about friendly matron. That's your poetry. So 2 points to Ralph, 3 points to Nathy.
Oh, fuck off.
Sorry, Ralph. To be fair, I'm giving you the points mainly for the accent, which I enjoyed. I think in the intrigue stakes this week, I have Big and Bouncy and a Damp Box versus Pensioner's Catheter Bag and Burnt Pencil Sharpenings. Dead Heat, 3 points each.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Which brings us finally onto accuracy. Pretty strong game. I'd say we've got... I liked the mustiness, you said, Ralph. I think the spiciness was there, all the sweet stuff was there. Orchard fruits with no mangoes. There's a bit of a discrepancy there, where Nathy was more about the bit of tropical, which I think.
Yeah, I would argue I was being quite speculative at that point in the game, but after I got my eye in.
From what you said from the tasting notes, I as ever, not a million miles off with something, but I wasn't hitting many.
You were hedging.
Bingo. No, I think I've toned it down.
You were going for the scattergun approach.
No, I haven't. I haven't the last couple of weeks. I've really toned it down. I've made an effort to go for quality rather than quantity.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, right, I'm looking at this. There's nothing either of you said that I think is way off the mark, and most of what you said is pretty close to it. So I'm going to have to give you a tie on that one as well, I think.
5 each?
If you want 5 each, I'll give you 5 each. It makes no difference, does it? Yeah, 5 points each. Brilliantly described on the Johnny Walker Black. So, let me do my arithmetic. The trivia round, actually. I forgot the trivia. I'm going to give this to Ralph because I just didn't like thinking about politics at all, and I was
winner.
Suitably intrigued that the Cotswold whiskey, and amused by the fact that the Cotswold whiskey is matured in Liverpool of all places. So Ralph, you can have a bonus. But to top this up, Ralph has 1, 6, 9, 11. That's Ralph's total. And Nathy has 5, 8, 12. No, 8 and 3 is what? 11, 14. So the final score, Ralph 11, Nathy 14. I think that's going to stretch Nathy's overall lead
to 5.5.
to 5.5 points. So you're going to have a couple of episodes to try and pull this back, Ralph.
Ralph, I told you to work on your poetry. Come on now.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to the drawing board. I think, best not to overthink it. I'm having a great time in it. It's not about the winning, is it? It's about the taking part. Yeah, again, though, I feel a bit done.
Well, you feel like
you've John... fucking Johnny Walker.
How do you mean? You're not happy with the whiskey you had this week, or you're not happy with your score?
No, it's a great whiskey. Love it. It's just so bloody confusing. It's really hard, this game, on the accuracy front.
I think we were pretty all right there.
No, I mean in terms of identifying what it is. But I suppose there's no points in that. It's just... Well, there's 5 points on that if you get all of them. I
mean, Nathy got 3 with his... with his incorrect guess, just from, I think... He committed to the blend thing.
But that's what I mean. It is a real Rubicon, the blend.
I think with that, I think out of the Chivas Regal thing, I think the Chivas Regal was wrong. The 12 was just a fluke because Chivas Regal happens to be 12. And then the other two the Space Side. Oh no, the Space Side was the blend, wasn't it? So blend was right, 40% was right, and the 12 was a fluke.
Maybe, I don't know. I think it's because I had a Jameson in the bath, which is also a blend, but not as...
Well, you're having fucking whiskey in the bath before you come on. No wonder you're bloody dropping points.
Well, yeah, probably.
What would Roy Keane say?
He'd say, get stuck in. He wouldn't say it like that either. He's been a bit chippy.
He would be hot. I think it's his persona. They say to him, I think, when he signs his contract, Roy, we need you to fucking...
Be a fucking twat when you're on telly. Yeah, I don't know. I was convinced this was really strong, and I think just because it's quite a lot, it's a bit more aggression than, but not in a, which I suppose is a tribute to the blenders really. They've done a good job. It felt really big and bold, but not in a sort of Bell's way.
I think if you go back to your Bells, the Bells is similar in that respect, though. It's not as nice as this. You're right, but it's it's got a similar feel to it, I think.
Yeah, I'm still filled with admiration for the cleverness of the blenders. I think
they know the blenders knows.
The blenders knows. Yeah, I wouldn't know where to start, but the variety you can get even within the blended whiskey is pretty incredible. Apparently, there's 40 individual whiskies in
40.
this thing.
Wow. They never tell you what they are either.
I thought they did though. I thought they often did.
No, it's just sort of...
They hint at what's in it.
Rumours and myths and the occasional hint, I think.
I think what you can almost guarantee is all of it, if not most of it, will be Diageo whiskey, so they go look up which there is their own and work from there.
Oh yeah, there's some Cardiff Gold in this one.
Probably. There's also probably some Talisker, that's where the smoke comes from. Maybe some Kalila. Who knows?
So are we sticking with our provisional rank of 3? I think I'm pretty happy
Yeah, I
with that.
guess so.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to give it anything else.
Right. I think we've done the competition. Nathy's whatever in front. 4.5? Not 4.5.
5.5.
5.5 in front. We've rated the whiskey. What have we learned this week?
Johnny Walker's pretty nice. Cotswolds is aged in Liverpool. Nowhere near Cotswolds.
And only 5% of whiskey drinkers are hard right political.
I have to actually confess, and it's a good job I didn't win that. I made it up.
You cheeky little bastard.
I was rushed. I didn't have time to look up a fact.
But you had time to make one up.
To be honest, I think that is five times better than any fact you will find on the internet. If I wasn't so far behind, I'd say give him another few points.
I was going to dock him a point for dishonesty.
Fuck that. No, alright, okay, yeah, do that. Dock him 4.5 points.
Do not dock him a point. He didn't win anyway, so if I was always going to tell you, I just,
I've locked in the scores now anyway. The spreadsheet is saved, so
Okay.
it would have to be one for the dubious judgments panel anyway. Right, I think it's time for caveats. So we always finish by just saying we're having fun drinking, but try not to drink too much. If you do think you have some kind of problem with drink or other mental health stuff, then please look up local support services. And if you have no other option, feel free to speak to us. Secondarily, we don't really know what we're on about or how to make a podcast, but we're having lots of fun doing it. And with that, I'll say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Doop, 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 doop.
Doot, doot.
Just a quick addendum to the episode. So first of all, sorry for the sound. Apparently I forgot to turn on my microphone and only recorded via my laptop, so my voice sounds a bit crappy in that episode. Second, sorry for the break in the middle of the season. Anyone that was listening regularly, we were publishing one episode a week, but unfortunately when I moved house, I was unable to find the time to edit any new episodes and publish them, so we've had a little bit of a hiatus. Hopefully normal service should now be resumed. Third, Ralph's wife, Martha, had a baby in the intervening time, so congratulations to them and welcome to the world, Peggy. We have another couple of episodes to close out the season and find out who wins the prize bottle of whiskey, and then we'll be following that up with some Christmas specials. So all the best for now, and Sláinte.